Hey guys, it's Frank here with another edition of Metal League Mondays. This time around, we're going to be focusing on Celestial players, and it's the way I do Metal League Mondays is that I go on Untapped and I uncheck all the ranks that are above gold. So these are going to be all gold replays, and we're just going to walk through them and kind of provide some notes about like what could have done better, what could have been done better, and yeah, how to help out like some of the newer players that don't want to get absolutely crushed by the pros because honestly the player base is pretty small right now, and if you're completely new to this game and you run up against someone that's been playing this game for a while and knows all the ins and the outs, then you can probably get all the help you can need. Now, I'd really like player one, I really like blue coming forward, and this array is so cheeky, and getting the creation chamber that close is really good too. What do we see? We see a creation chamber being thrown down by... Okay, but he's going to lose vision here. Is this going to be a really far forward strike node? It is! This is a cannon rush! He's cannon rushing! Cheeky, cheeky. And it looks like he's not going for any more eco, so blue is... Oh no! Yeah, there's not enough health on the link node! No! So red put himself down into the red energy. He's now in red energy, which is really going to slow down any kind of construction. Like, look at how slow this is building, because he's down on red energy, and he's down because he had to burn a Sovereign's Watch to take out that link node. But that's actually fine, I think, because he's sitting on 2 collection arrays, so he's got double the income of his opponent, and he can just chill. We don't see... Actually, no, that's not true. We only see, yeah, there's just one prism over on this array. Another Sovereign's Watch gets popped, and yeah, I think these oh, and the Argents drag the creeps all the way back, so they're not in danger of being hit by the Sovereign's Watch anymore. This is actually really cheeky. I love this. Alright, a couple of power banks going down just to make sure that the arc ship can stay full on power, which is really nice actually. I think a lot of people underestimate the value of the arc ship's ability to heal, and if it stays floating over these power banks, I mean, it's more healing that they can get. Interesting. So player 2 goes for vectors. Vectors are not known for their anti-heavy qualities. Oh, and a high ground strike node is actually pretty cheeky. I do like that. Yeah, these Argents can't get the good surface area because they're stuck on this cliff. Like, I want to say that strike node is probably just barely going past the edge of the cliff right there. A couple more power banks going down. I'm surprised he's not going for the Arc Fortress build and then coming forward and laser beaming down his opponent. But we do see an Arc Station over here. Scan goes down to check out what's going on. Oh no! Okay, the strike node does finally go down. And that's the other thing that these power banks are really good for, is if you kind of cluster them together like this and use them as refilling stations, so your Argents don't have to sit there trying to regenerate, what is it, like 1 energy per second? 2 energy per second? Oh, actually, it's flying up there. Anyway, you don't have to sit around and wait for them to regenerate all their energy back. They can go back to firing charge shots. And yeah, what a cool little standoff we have right here. I don't think I haven't seen a game like this in quite a bit, honestly. Oh, Blast Node's gonna be fantastic, but it's a shame it only got 1 shot off. Did have a really good connection though. Like, look at all these Argents kind of in the center of the ball that are low on health, and now now Big Daddy Saber's out. He's gonna be getting great AoE damage done. Yeah, and again, like all these Argents have to come back, and they are going to get healed eventually. But like already, these power banks have spent all the energy that they had saved up recharging the Argents. There's not any energy left to recharge the Arc ship to continue healing the rest of the really injured Argents here. But once we start getting a lot more Sabers out, okay, yeah, that would be my feedback for player 2 right now. Actually, is like, why do you care about vectors? Vectors are great. I think their only utility right now, as of this patch 0.2.1, is that if there's lightly armored air units that are harassing you, Also, that you never ever want to go down to yellow power. Like it's better to build a power bank, and stay on green than it is to build another building and then build power banks on the side, because that impacts your build time and your training time so much. Yeah, I would say just stay on sabers, man, and like really, if you don't want it to be an even game, which you don't, like why would you want it to be a close game? Get more eco. Oh no! Right when he surged that Ascension Matrix, he brought himself down to red power. He needs to build another power bank. He needs to. Where's that Morph Core? Yeah, that Morph Core is probably going to go build another collection array here real soon. But yeah, red's down and he's staying on red energy. All right, and neither side really wants to attack into the other. And oh no, actually, I think if he set up his sabers right here, understanding the limitations of your race is really important. Oh, this Morph Core is going to come around and break down all the trees, so that way the Argent Ball can come in and ruin this production. Oh no, this could be really sick, actually. Okay, but he does go and get the health camp. He's going to come back. He should. Here comes the attack. Yeah, this is what he gets for not scouting. Or for not keeping an eye on his opponent. But as I was saying earlier, like, understanding your units, like, if he put some sabers right here and then threw down a scan, he could probably be hitting that power bank and those link nodes. And here it comes. All those Argents firing fully charged shots into the production of player 2. Starforge goes down. And the Purification goes down for some... Oh, no, the Purification's for energy regen. That makes sense. Throws down a Sovereign's Watch over his array to keep doing damage to these Argents, but they got the damage done. A Creation Chamber and Starforge go down, but it's not that impactful, I think. He wasn't using his Starforge that efficiently. But now he's on yellow power, and he has to stop. Like, why? Why are you building a Legion Hall? Build power banks, dude. Like, you're going to get better training time, which means you're going to be building reinforcements that much faster. Maybe the idea is that by building vectors, they're lightly armored units, and Argents only do bonus damage against heavy armor. So like, yeah, I guess you're technically not getting bonus damage done to you, but these vectors aren't going to be doing all that much damage to ground units. They do a flat 9 damage compared to the 10 of these Argents, and the Argents only cost Luminite. Fantastic shots here from the sabers, but I think the sabers need to be target firing into the middle of the Argent Ball so that their AoE's getting the best connection possible. Yeah, and this is a really smart idea. Once the double Sovereign's Watch pops on these link nodes, just getting all the way back, not taking that damage for free. Yep, still active. Oh, and player 2, I love your composition a lot more. Like, you started with sabers, and you should be surging ahead here, but your power management is absolutely everything for Celestial players. They start with the maximum 300 supply of army unit supply, but yeah, really this power mechanic is their version of supply, because they don't have, like, their structures require something that the other two factions don't, and that's the power. Alright, all the sabers do their mass acceleration boost. Okay, now both players are back on green energy, and the supplies are actually really similar. But player 2 was floating a lot more Luminite. There. What was that noise? Ah! Oh no! Okay, so now I think we're at a bit of a standstill here. Alright, the Sabers are going to keep on keeping on. Okay, but player 2's production has been at such a... It got hit so hard that I think he's never really come back. He's trying to build a lot of different units, but why is this Creation Chamber the prime structure? They should be popping out of here. Like, look at how long it's taken for these Argents just to walk to catch up to his main army ball. Alright, another Starforge, another Starforge. Love that. Yeah, he can't afford to fall behind with the Saber production. And once he's got... So he's got plenty of Sabers out right now, actually. I would almost love him to keep on building more of these, honestly, Kree. Kree would do fantastic. They're lightly armored. They can get in close and do their own version of AoE damage when they do that little spin to win. There we go. Alright, so player one's feeling a little bit froggy. He thinks he can come forward and take this fight. The Sabers don't fall back, and I do like that. The Vectors do decide to jump on the on player one's Sabers, and they do manage to get all of them except for one. I think that one just popped out. No! Alright, the Kree getting fantastic connections with their little death balls. Oh, what is that? Resolute Seal. What is that? Is that from is that a spell that the Seraphim casts? I almost never see that spell being cast. I need to go back and look that up. Oh man. And player one GG's out. Well, we assume he GG'd out. I think the chat gets stripped out of these untapped games. But yeah, GG's guys. Player two showing some really interesting gameplay, like using Vectors and Seraphim against Argent Saber is certainly interesting. You almost never see that, but yeah, GG's. Thanks for the game, guys. Hey guys, here we are doing another game for Metal League Mondays Celestial Edition on patch 0.2.1, and we've got the mining animation off the imp. I think that's because I jumped forward too much in the replay UI, but this imp actually got a very lucky scout. He's going to see this array going down very close to his own base. So as a Celestial player, like recently, there's been a rock paper scissors, there's been a rock paper scissors between the races, which is not ideal. I think you don't want rock paper scissors between the three races, but recently it has been, and it's been that Infernals beat Celestials, Celestials beat Vanguard, Vanguard beat Infernals. So coming really far forward, just to have your collection array scouted that early is pretty scary. Alright, we do see, this might be the same player two from last game, or this might be the same player from last game building a really far forward creation chamber, but the imp did scout it. And I think that opens it up to a lot of attack. Okay, now we see a bunch of production structures going down. That might be too many production structures, honestly. But he's anticipating a proxy, so I would imagine that I'm not anticipating a proxy. He scouted the proxy, like he knows it's there. There we go. Another perma effigy goes down. Alright, and the Hexen and the Brute are far forward here, and they can scout. They do see everything that's coming out here. And actually, I really like this for player 2. Well, what I don't like is that he's going to get he's not going to be able to build units as fast as the Infernal player can. So all of his production structures are way far forward right now. But our Infernal player spent so much money on like he spent a bunch of money on the production structures. He spent a bunch of money on this expansion. He might not have the money to keep up with army units. Oh, beautiful infestation on that Argent. It does pop a fiend out, and now he's really backed into a corner. This is unfortunate. Yeah, all these Argents are going to get yeah, they have nowhere to run. That one gets infested. We're seeing more fiends pop out. Oh, and the Argents are focusing down the Hexen. That Hexen needs to get out of there, because otherwise there's going to be no other way for them to infest stuff. Alright, he is regenerating white health because he's standing on Shroud. All the Infernal units are. Oh, no. Yeah, you need to get that Hexen out of there. He's your only spellcaster and your only source of infest for now. Yeah, I'm amazed that these creation chambers have stayed alive as long as they have. Okay, yeah, time to just get away from the Sovereign's Watch. Yep, there you go. Another creation chamber goes down. This has actually been a fantastic success for our Infernal player. And all right, player 2 briefly dips down into red power, but like what a scary place to set up your proxy base. You're on the super low ground, and returning fire from this position is kind of bad. Losing 2 production structures is bad. Losing all those Argents is bad. It's I do like the Sovereign's Watch. This is a good Sovereign's Watch, and he's like, the Infernal player is just chilling there. He's just soaking in all that damage, but I think it's to be expected. Like, he wants to win. And really, the high HP from this Creation Chamber is really slowing him down. He's losing honestly too many Gaunts. Yeah, back up. Get away from all that DPS that's coming off that Sovereign's Watch, and come back later. Honestly, go for tier 2 units. Get some Hellborn on the high ground over here, where the Argents can't fire back, and just start pelting this entire base, and GG and win. Walk 360 degrees and moonwalk out the door. Alright, there's the Hellforge. So we might be of a mind. Yeah, that's already 3 creation chambers that have been picked off. And that's a little rough. I do love, like, when I take a second to, like, actually admire the building animations, like the little pieces of metal falling down from the sky and, like, building the structure. I can't get enough of how cool I think the Celestial building animation is. Oh, and player 1's also got a vision of this entire low ground. Like, he's got the vision camp right here, so he can see exactly everything that's happening. He can see that all these Argents are coming forward. Alright, so we see a Ritual Chamber and a Hellforge coming out at the same time. So is that going to be Magma's coming out? Oh, he's got to build something, but he doesn't have any charges! He doesn't have any more charges. He should be getting Plague Axes as soon as possible. But yeah, the Infernal... Actually, and he's got plenty of Therium as well. I like using these. I like these meat farms being set up and used for static defense, just because well, 1, Fellhogs are my favorite unit in the game, and then 2, they're free. They regenerate, and having free units that are tied to a spot on the map, I think, is a really cool way to do free units in an RTS. Nice little expansion out to a 3rd here. I would have liked to see it over on the double Therium instead, personally, but that's totally fine. Alright, so this is a Celestial-focused Metal League Mondays, so let's go back to our Celestial player here. He's got tons of energy, he's got tons of power for more buildings, and I think he is building more back at home. I like to see him using a Therium Purifier. Probably could have been built a little bit closer to the Therium patch. That's alright. Couple of Creation Chambers as well. You know what? I don't see this all that often, but I really like it, is when people build most of their production, when Celestial players build most of their production back at their main, but then they designate a very far forward production structure, just one, as their prime. So like none of these, there's three creation chambers here that are at risk, right? So instead, build 2 of those back here, and keep one of them very far forward as your prime, and then everything spits out of this one. Same with these power banks. Like, yeah, you can make a case that the Arc Station probably needs to get powered up, especially even if you go up to an Arc Fortress, and you want to start using the laser beam to take down your opponent's command structures. It'd be really good. Oh, Soulforge Ascendants. We don't see any tier 2 units yet, though. It's kind of unfortunate. Infernal tier 2 units are really good. Alright. Continuing to make his creep highway. Shroud highway, excuse me. Oh no! And the Hexen finally goes down. But it doesn't matter. All these Gaunts do have Plague Axes. Oh, but the Purifies go down to make sure that the Infest doesn't stick. And I think these I think the Gaunts are... They've got the better arc here, but there's better DPS density. Oh, and the Sabers are out there, and the Sabers doing that AoE damage. No, I think he could have stayed and fought. I think the Sabers would have done plenty of damage. And here's my biggest complaint about Titan's Causeway. This little area right here is so tight that, like, your units can get stuck on each other. Why are these sabers not shooting? Oh my goodness. That was so many free shots that weren't utilized. Yeah, and this is the Celestial Army slowly being dismantled here. Alright, the link node gets surged. The strike node, excuse me, gets surged. So it's got that additional DPS. But the Infernals decide to back off, and where's the Hellborn? Where is the Hellborn? Alright, so we're still on a Greater Shrine. Hellborn's not stuck behind Tier 3, is it? I don't think it is. I just don't see why, like... There's no reason not to make Tier 2 units right now. Well, I guess I know why you don't make Magmadons. Magmadons just get melted by everything that that Celestial player has out right now. But, yeah, so knowing that... Okay, you don't want to stop and take a fight in here. Look, yeah, those Argents were dancing in the back. It sets you up, yeah, setting you up perfectly for that AoE. And what did I just say? Don't build Magmadons! Ah! But as a Celestial player, you're celebrating right now because, yeah, look, Argents do bonus to heavy armor, Sabers do bonus to heavy armor. Okay, but and he's doubling down. He's doubling down on Magmadons. Magma don't. Thank you very much, Filibuster. That warmed my heart to read, man. That was really good. Alright, and he's sticking... So, as a Celestial player, you see how many Gaunts are being built here. The Kree are such good anti-Gaunt units. I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to get them. Or, if you keep it up with your economy, and start getting a lot more Therium, more than just 2 prisms worth of Therium, honestly. Archangels doing their Meteor Smash down on a big pool of Gaunts is really good. It's the absolute Slaughter Festival. And I don't see who left first, but I think player 1 is just out of army units, so he has to bow out. So despite having, I don't know, I think that this could have been countered so easily by anti-heavy units. Or honestly, like, by Spriggans. If the Infernal player had made Spriggans, player 2 would have been in big trouble. But GG's. Yeah, this is very interesting, and I honestly thought this wouldn't work, but he did manage to pull it off by the skin of his teeth. So, on to the next game. Alright guys, we've got another CVC here for you on Isle of Dread for this Celestial edition of Meta League Mondays. In the bottom left, we have the blue player, player 1. And in the upper right, we have the red player, player 2. So I wonder if I should just... You know, I might fast forward this a little bit. I think that we're not going to be seeing a whole lot happening right here. I think it's really interesting that both of these players actually decided to expand to the Luminite and Therium base as opposed to going for the double Luminite. In the higher level games, we usually see players going for this double Luminite, and I think it's because early game Celestials don't need that much they don't need that much Therium. But hey, they both went for it, so I wonder if this is a I don't know. I mean, it's not a practice match, right? Like all of Untapped replays are from the ladder. Throwing down a Therium Purifier. I like it. I actually really like that positioning on Therium Purifier because the patches will start to grow around the Therium Purifier, so that means that the prisms don't have to go far at all. Like, it'll just keep on growing around the Therium Purifier as they keep regenerating. Anyway, first Argent pops out for player 1, and player 2's got... Oh! I don't think I've seen this before. I kind of like that. That's cute. Making a little choke right here. I know people like to defending this is in your best interest, and throwing down a strike node behind your production structures is really cool. But going into yellow power is not cool. You want to be cool, stay in green power. You want to be not cool, go down into yellow power when you're not using Sovereign's Watch. Sovereign's Watch, it's acceptable to dip into yellow power, but the rest of the time, no, naughty, naughty. Alright, what do we have coming out over here? So Starforge is almost finished up. It's interesting that on such a big map, the Celestial players aren't building further forward. Now, that might be just because they know that it's a mirror matchup and they don't want to leave their main undefended if they build too far forward. Typically, if a Celestial player is facing the other two factions, they know that the other player is going to have to like walk through the entire map to get to their base, and it can kind of be scouted and reacted to pretty quickly. But if it's another Celestial player, you don't know where they're going to start building, so it's maybe they just want to keep things consolidated, more consolidated here. I don't like how far forward all these power banks are, though. Power banks are so, like, the amount that Celestials rely on power, this little lightning bolt is huge. So making sure that they're pretty safe, and honestly, like, production structures are pretty tanky. They make for a good choke point, kind of like what was done here with this red player. And still, neither player's gone for the. Well, here we go. We see red going for the Luminite, the double Luminite. I like this very far forward Ascension Matrix too. Ascension Matrix, for those of you that don't know, when you can surge them while they're still in construction, and while they're surged, in a pretty big radius, they give a 20% damage buff to all of your friendly units. So it's a fantastic defensive structure. Some people use it. Some people build them offensively, and they build an Ascension Matrix right outside of their opponent's base, or where they want to take a huge fight, and then surge it to take that fight. Yeah, it's a really cool mechanic in that it's a really powerful aura, but it doesn't move with your army. I think that was the idea behind Frost Giant making that. Here's the most glorious critter in all of RTS. There he is with the neutral team color there. I do appreciate it. There we go. We see a couple of surges going down. I don't get why surge is going down on the Guardian Nexus. Here we go. What does it do? All right, nearby friendly structures gain 25 armor. That's actually pretty good. But that's energy kind of wasted, I think. Yeah, he dipped down into yellow power, which, again, it affects your build times. I don't know why you would want to do that. Anyway, blue is coming on forward here with Saber Argent. Nothing wrong with that. Actually, that's a lot of sabers. Taking that Luminite camp pretty easily though. Oh, and players 2 briefly dipped down to red power. There we go. Keep your power levels up. What does the scouter say about his power level? Going for the double Therium is also interesting. Celestials aren't known for being very Therium starved, but I've always been a big fan of taking these ninja bases early, just because there's always so much aggression that happens down the main thoroughfares of maps that players are more concerned about either attacking or defending, that they don't spend time looking for the ninja bases, which is the bases kind of in the corners where you don't spawn. So I do like seeing that. It's just what is happening? We don't. This is certainly a whole bunch of army that it's going to be quite the force to repel for player 2. Player 2 does have better Luminite mining, I believe. Yeah. And he's spending it, so that's another thing for newer players or lower ranked players. Just spending your money is so important, and it looks like both of these players do have a solid grasp of that. But the other part of that is having the eco or building eco as you're earning money, so that way you can get it even faster. You can build reinforcements or build production structures or build. Like if you're building stuff faster than your eco can replenish, you need more eco. But if you're so many sabers, I don't know how you attack into that. There we go. Oh, or is it player 2 that's going to come away victorious from this? No, it looks like all the sabers except for one dried up for player 1, but now he's leaving? What? Oh, the scythes are out. The scythes are a fantastic idea, because nothing he has anymore shoots up, and they're lightly armored. Yeah, they're lightly armored. Excuse me, it's down here. So that even if they do start taking shots from Argents, they're not going to be taking that bonus damage. Oh man, honestly, I think player 1 could have pressed the attack and taken out some of these really valuable structures. Here we go. Okay. Interesting. It is the scythe upgrade, but it's the scythe. I get you want to upgrade the units that you have and that you're going to be investing more resources into, but this is an anti-air upgrade. So unless he's anticipating getting hit with scythes, or maybe with ooh, so many mass accelerators going down at the same time sounds very vroomy. And yeah, they're all just gonna retreat. Yeah, he definitely understands. Yeah, there's no answer that far forward for these scythes, so better to get out of there, go home, get to a place where you can defend, and yeah. All right, but player 2, knowing that he scared off all those sabers, is gonna feel comfortable enough to take this health camp, which is nice. Celestials don't really have a good way of healing when they're out on the map. The arc ship can use energy to heal units, but it costs 25 energy per heal, and it's not an instant heal. It's like a regen over a couple seconds. So having these health camps where your units can go and like chill, regenerate for a little bit, and then get back into the fight is super convenient. Let's go see what tech's going on back here. We see another arc ship being built, which is interesting. But blue still hasn't built anything over... Oh, okay. No, my mistake. It's just if it wasn't for the little blue blip on the minimap right here, I wouldn't have known that he already built an array. Building another array over on the second Luminite, and it looks like we're settling in for a bit of a longer game. Here's what I meant about having this many prisms next to this double Therium. He's floating 2,200 Therium right now. That's way too much. But it is effective, I guess. He's not going to be hurting for Therium anytime soon. Honestly, if it were me, I'd go back. Like, if you look at this and see that there's not much Therium left, grab these 3, throw them over at the at this array that's about to get done being built. Awesome, awesome. We like to see people that are active on the map, taking advantage of the creep camps. But okay, here's my issue with it's not even an issue with the matchup or the race, but with this map in particular. There's so many camps to take that a player can basically spend their time doing the PvE stuff, and like it gives them something to do that isn't fighting the opponent. But that's kind of the point of 1v1s, is fighting the person that you got matched up against. Okay, we might finally see them come together here. Okay, bunch of vectors are very far forward to anticipate the scythes, and now the scythes are going to scout the ninja base. Unfortunately, the ninja base never built an array, but it is going to be a lot of prisms that are just going to be wiped out here. Yeah, prisms are so valuable and they're so squishy. I think once the scythes showed up, that was kind of it. There is no reacting to this. Yeah, then now they're just gonna leave. Or are they? Oh no, the scythe is just flying directly over these fantastic anti-air units that can blink. No, vectors, go back down and blink. Oh, but the scythes, they're gonna get their revenge. A single Sovereign's Fury. Alright, with 2 Sovereign's Furies, 3 Sovereign's Furies going down in this block of size is pretty problematic. And they are going to start dropping pretty quickly now. You don't want to fly over. Why was there a mass accelerator used? I don't know. But yeah, flying units over your opponent's anti-air is never a good idea. Should go without saying. It just maximizes the amount of DPS density that all those vectors get. So you don't want to do that. And sides aren't the cheapest units that you can build. Like they are not free units. You definitely want to conserve them and not throw them away. Here comes the aggression from blue again, and blue is up in supply by a fair amount, and it's just yeah, this saber on saber brutality. No, the chicken got taken out, leaving his little tiny chicken skeleton. Rust in Pringles, chicken. Oh, the vectors are getting a little bit too froggy here. There we go. Yeah, all this static D in the world won't save you from the saber long shots. Oh, but all these vectors are taking so much damage. They're too far forward. I think the sabers already got scared back. It's the vectors that need to hang back now and act as an escort for these. Vectors need to hang back and act as an escort for the sabers. All right, that's good surface area. That's good damage density on the structures, on the opponent's sabers. And I think we're going to see player 2 GGing out here pretty soon. He's down by 100 supply. I don't see how he fends off this attack. There's just no way. Vectors, okay, so the vectors are good anti-air, but they're good anti-air against light units. They do 16 damage against light units. Against heavy armored units, such as an Arc Fortress, they do 8 damage. And this Arc Fortress can heal, well, not faster than it's getting damaged, but it's a lot of HP, and it will heal itself if it, like, once it leaves. So it's almost never worth attacking the Arc Fortress with your vectors, unless you have a high enough number, in which case you can do significant damage. They might be able to chunk it down. Oh, you still got the shallows right here. You can keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. No! Oh, that would have been so sweet. Yeah, and the sabers from player 1 are just absolutely dismantling all of the bases from player 2 here. Sovereign's Fury goes down with Fury and Fire, but really this is a fight that player 1 does not have to sit there and just tank all that damage for. Player 2 not wanting to GG is like, you know what? The win condition is you gotta kill all my structures, so come kill all my structures. And that's what's happening. Slowly but surely. No. Is the Arc Fortress still there? Yeah, the Arc Fortress is still there. No, come on. The game's over. You made your point, player 2. Time to bow out. I know some players might feel like, well, you know, you have to kill all my units if you're gonna win the game, but to the rest of the community, it can come across as maybe a little bit rude. If it's kind of, you know, if you already know what's going to happen, it's just a matter of time. It's just better to bow out so you can both get to your next game. But yeah, if you're not doing that intentionally, totally understand. You know, there's a lot of unwritten rules in some of these games, and making sure that you're not accidentally being rude to somebody is just something to keep in mind. All right, GG's guys, on to the next game. Hey guys, it's Frank here, and we've got a CVV, Celestial versus Vanguard game here for you. Wow. For this edition of Meta League Mondays, we've got player 1, a Vanguard player who just overcharged 3 bobs to build a mech bay. Interesting. And a habitat. And here's player 2, our Celestial player, who's building another array. So, for those of you that don't know, Lost Hope is a 4-player map. And what that means is that there's 4 possible spawn locations. Not necessarily, I think you can do 2v2s on Lost Hope, I'm not sure. But regardless, the reason that I bring that up is that it's different in the 1v1 maps in that you don't know where your opponent is going to spawn. Case in point, this dog had to run around the rest of the different spawn locations on the map. Like, it's possible for someone to spawn there or to spawn there. So whoever scouts first and knows where their opponent is has a bit of an advantage, because right now the Celestial player hasn't scouted where these where the Vanguard's coming from. Now we can kind of tell. It's like, all right, well, the units are streaming in from this corner of the ramp. It's safe to assume that they spawn in the top left. But if you never scout that much, then it can be kind of deadly. Good Sovereign's Watch, forcing that Hedgehog to retreat all the way back. Does bring him down to yellow power though, which is unfortunate, but quick power bank solves that. We do have a couple Argents out already. I think this Vanguard's trying to, there we go. Another Sovereign's Watch goes down. Yeah, and our player 2 really needs to start cranking out Argents as quickly as possible. There we go. Throwing down another production structure. I like that. But you need power. You can't just sit on power. Building more power banks doesn't increase your energy regen. Now, whether it should or not is up for debate, but as of this patch, 0.2.1, doesn't increase your energy regen for your top bar. It just functions as your, oh no, deployed Hedgehogs acting as anti-air platforms, wiping out that Morph Core. Hurts quite a bit, and now these Hedgehogs are basically unchallenged. They can start wiping out all these Argents, and the Argents are fighting a bunch of lightly armored targets. So, yeah, the dogs are lightly armored, so they're not taking bonus damage. The Hedgehogs are lightly armored, so they don't take bonus damage. Yeah, this is a rough spot for our Celestial player to be in. Oh no, is that another Morph Core that's gonna go down? I think it might be. Yeah. Morph Core can't escape fast enough, and the Hedgehogs just nuke it down. I will say I like that the our Celestial player here is not just sending in his Argents one by one to die. He's sending them in groups. There we go. Another Sovereign's Watch goes down. Honestly, I almost would have liked the Sovereign's Watch here better on the creation chamber, excuse me, because it's a tankier building than the power bank, and it has a bit of a further range. But back to what I was saying, not sending your Argents in one by one to fight, waiting until there's like a group of 3 of them, so that they know they can get a couple shots off. It's not just, oh, all the Hedgehogs can turn, one-shot the Argent, wait for the next one to pop out, one-shot the Argent. If you send them in as a group, it's I mean, it's just better. But anyway, knowing that the Celestial player's on the back foot, looks like our Vanguard player's going to run around the map and start getting camps, but he's just chilling on this camp for some reason. I don't quite understand that. What you could do is send your full health Hedgehogs and the dogs ahead of the injured ones, and then go take this health camp and, you know, kind of spread out the damage across the different units that you have. Excuse me. Again, I don't know if the Celestial player is scouted at all or not. I haven't seen any units cross the map, but Celestials do have that top bar ability where you can... It might be tier 2, actually. Where no, it is tier 1. That you can throw down a scan just to see what your opponent's up to. And I think that's really valuable to know what tech your opponent's on, especially if you're not going to scout, but... I mean, player 2 has 35 energy. He can definitely afford it. Oh, man. Player 1. Okay, here's another thing. that you should keep in mind as a Celestial player. Like, your opponent will want to, wait, does this work? It is going to work. That's actually really interesting. Anyway, it's good to know what tech your opponent's on, but it's also important to know that your opponent will try to snipe the creep camps that are closest to your base, because that's resources that you won't be able to get. And both of these camps, the speed camp and the health camp, are pretty important. The Therium camp is a nice to have, I would say, as Celestial, but between prioritizing that and prioritizing like the speed camp, for example, I would prioritize the speed camp first. But yeah, it looks like our Vanguard player is just taking camps at will. I think the only one he doesn't have like for free would be this health camp, but even so, the what is our Celestial player doing here? Is he building stuff still? Yeah, he's building sabers, which is good. But again, dips down into yellow energy, so kinda. Well, it is nice to see these building power banks alongside all these structures. Oh, and he's getting ready for a backdoor drop. Again, it's pretty interesting to see this Celestial player basically taking the base that you would take if you didn't have flying structures. Like, I think it would be basically a free base to go over here, and this is pretty safe. Like, you're not. I would imagine that an opponent would want to scout a lot of other places first before scouting there, or really like putting your array somewhere that will put your opponent out of position. So let's say you put a collection array over here, you send a morph core across the map, put a collection array over here, and then your opponent has to decide, it's like, okay, do they go to attack this array and then open themselves up to attack from the south, or do they just leave it alone and let you resource? Like, you have to put them to a decision that makes them uncomfortable. But I guess the Celestial player is just happy building up his army, and I don't know if he scouted his opponent all that much, but if he did, oh, is this the Sentinel upgrade? SimCity is also really interesting to me right here, because this barracks is almost completely surrounded. I don't know where a unit would pop out if it popped out of there. Anyway, yeah, it looks like he's going mass hedgehog, which is effective against heavy units, which the Argents are, so that you can expect the Argents to, like, basically evaporate. And again, this is why scouting is so important. Like, I know the army is very mobile, and it's very... it's not like you're going to throw down a scan and catch it immediately, but right here. Okay. That camp was just taken. If you keep an eye on the minimap, right when it was just taken, you can throw down a scan, see what your opponent's got, and look! It's a bunch of lightly armored units. What does good against lightly armored units? Kree. Kree, or... I mean, what else would be good? Archangels, probably not, because they're heavy and they'd get countered. Vectors, having your own light units out on the map would be really good. How much does each rocket do? Each rocket does 10 damage, plus 5 against heavy, and it's at a attack speed of 0.3. I think it's at 0.3 just because it has so many saved up. That can't be right. Attack speed is 0.3 against ground. Because I think the number of the attack speed says how many attacks it how many attacks it shoots in 1 second, right? Or how many seconds it takes to fire one attack. There we go. Oh, there's a scanner. So, okay, yeah, that's a great use of the scanner. Get the scout off, sees that there's a bajillion different hedgehogs out on the map. So I like the sabers. There we go. I love to see the Cabal. Cabal against hedgehog is really good. Because Debilitate is really good. Okay, so the blue bubbles, the blue sentinel bubbles are a problem because there's no melee units, and melee units don't have to worry about the they don't have to worry about. Now that was just straight up bad by the Vanguard player, leaving the bubbles like that. But yeah, Kree aren't ranged units, and the blue bubbles only affect incoming attacks from ranged units. And the Kree do bonus to light, so I think it would be a good use to use them there. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so now our Celestial player is in between Vanguard and the Vanguard Army and the Vanguard Natural, which is basically saying it's like, okay, you know you lost that previous fight, so your options are either come fight me and you lose because your army's just weaker than mine right now, or you let your base die. So it's a bit of a tough hold. Oh, but 2 helicarriers can do quite a bit of damage. Bombing run goes down and gets really good. Yeah, losing 3 sabers for free basically is kind of rough. 1 bomber does get picked off mid-flight, but it'll get rebuilt here pretty soon. I heard a couple of atlases. Yeah, deploy here. Whoa, huge connections on the Argent, or yeah, the Argent Cabal front line. Sending that 1 Argent forward to act as artillery bait is pretty good. But these sabers really need to be focusing down the atlases. Oh man, yeah, and 4 helicarriers is the magic number to be pretty deadly against most armies. Oh no, and behind all that, okay, so Kree were taken. Oh, and that 1 really low hedgehog manages to get the health cabbage. It's gonna come forward and, oh no. Player 2 snatching defeat from the clutches of victory. Well, tough game. GG's, guys. Alright, guys, we're back for real this time. I was rudely interrupted by some random lurker in the chat that was buying my affections. He's just throwing money at the screen and saying, "Streamer, you're gonna do what I tell you, because I'm paying you for this. So dance, monkey." No, I'm just kidding. It was anyway. This is the Celestial versus Vanguard on Boneyard for Metal League Mondays Celestial Edition on patch 0.2.1, and we've got a surged arc ship coming on forward here. So Surge is a very interesting top bar ability for Celestials in that it's like a switch that you can toggle on and off. And when you surge an arc ship, it moves a lot faster, and typically that's related to someone that really knows what they're doing. Like they switch it on, the arc ship zooms on over to a specific location, and then yeah, like this. I think they're gonna get there right when the morph core pops out. This is excellent. That's so cool. I think they really mapped that out. So what a lot of people do for timings is that they'll look down at the clock and say, okay, from the 45-second mark to the 1 minute 10 mark, I'm going to surge the arc ship. So it's gonna take a little bit of power, but then I'm going to turn it off after the 1 minute 10 mark or whatever, and then by then the morph core will be just popping out, and then the morph core doesn't have to travel all that far to actually get to the next Luminite mine to build it. Now, people will do that specifically for a map and do those kinds of they'll kind of math out the timings about when something arrives where, when to start building the morph core and stuff like that. And I think the more brain power that you can use to kind of map those kinds of things out will make you a much, much better player. That was really cool to watch. Alright, let's go see what his opponent's up to. His opponent is a Vanguard player. Already got the health camp. Now, one of the big advantages to Boneyard is that it's a really big map, and it's guaranteed that both players start diagonally from one another. Last game we saw was on, not Furious, it was Lost Hope. And they did not spawn diagonal to each other, and it was still a big map, but the fact that Celestial Economy gets up and running so much later now is something that has to be worked around, I think. Especially if there's going to be early game aggression, like our Vanguard player seems to want to do. But yeah, so the Vanguard player could have sent this army straight across the map, and there's really not much here to defend. But we do see a Surge Creation Chamber out, and there are a couple of Argents that are out on the map as well. Oh no, two of these slimes are hitting the Prism. That's terrible. That's awful. No, not the Prism. Oh no, don't tell me they're gonna have to run away from level 1 slimes. No. And they're so close that they're getting hit by the radioactive blood. So whenever the slimes die, they have a debuff. Don't die! No! Yeah, losing army units to a camp is not good. Microing your units back so that the injured unit can still survive, and so that the full health unit takes a little bit of that damage is better. Yeah, if there was ever any doubt, now you know. So that's four Lancers, which are going to be taking bonus damage from the Oscillamata, from the Argents. And 3 Hedgehogs, which are both more mobile. They're faster than the Argents, and they're lightly armored, so they don't take the bonus damage. These Hedgehogs are going to be a big problem. I would almost say that, oh, no, wait, why are there 2 Therium Purifiers? Okay, so for those of you that don't know, you can just build 1 Therium Purifier. You don't have to build 1 per patch. And if you throw down your Therium Purifier right here, the prisms from both Therium patches will just return that Therium to the same patch. Like, you can still have 3 on this patch, 3 on this patch, and it's fine. You don't have to spend the extra resources on a superfluous Therium Purifier there. He did get his prisms out though, which is good. Okay, now the trick here is that you don't want this to be your prime structure, because on Boneyard, this is an island. This is cliffs that go all the way around this little this Luminite rock, this Luminite point. Oh. And it's basically free. Like, these land islands are pretty free for a Celestial player to take. Oh, but I don't think it'll matter if there's nothing to defend your main. No! Okay, good use of Sovereign's Watch there. 2 Sovereign's Watches going down. And yeah, taking out the Hedgehogs is a pretty big priority. Good job prioritizing the Hedgehogs as a target, just because most of the things that the Celestial will build on the ground are going to be anti-heavy. Now I think since the Guardian Nexus is out, you want to be building Kree so they can actually catch up to the Hedgehogs and really threaten them. No, the Ascension Matrix goes down for free? Or was it still being built? I didn't see it. These are all full health, so they don't need the cabbage. If you attack this this healing flower, it'll heal 125 health to whatever unit kills it. So it's good to have. Oh, here come the Hedgehogs! Okay, good cancellation there. And these Hedgehogs are actually kind of making a mistake. They could be, yeah, see, like that Hedgehog just healed up a little bit. Oh no, they moved commanding past all that DPS! Okay, and they are punished for it. They do take quite a bit of damage when 1 Hedgehog does fall. And now our Celestial player is actually kind of sitting pretty a little bit. Well, was until he got down into red energy. Being on red energy is is not the place to be. And again, one Therium Purifier is fine. I think one of the things that prevents people from going up in their skill levels from the meta leagues is it has nothing to do with playing the game and more about watching the game. If you go back and watch your own replays and you think, oh man, I messed up here, I should have microed that, or oh, I didn't even realize that I had some army units that were stuck on this part of the map or something like that, and really understanding that up to a certain point, you're losing against yourself. So you don't want to lose against yourself. Whoa, nice pick off there. Notices that a lot of these hedgehogs are moving forward, and there's a huge amount of hedgehogs coming forward, and they're taking gigantic hits from this blast node. They don't realize that focusing down the Therium Purifier should not be their priority. Now they're going to run past this Sovereign's Watch and a couple of Sabers. And the Debilitate from the Cabal is also really good. So, yeah, Cabal against Vanguard is good. I recommend it. Just because they're not so numerous like the Infernals that they that, you know, if you use Debilitate on a unit, that unit's going to die within like 2 seconds. So you don't really see a return. Vanguard units tend to be a bit tankier, and they'll stick around for longer, so that Debilitate has a much bigger effect on them. As well as the fact that there's just not as many Vanguard units. Like, they're not as numerous as the Infernals, so they can afford to. So it's like there's a greater percentage of their supply that's getting that debuff from these Cabal. But again, that I go back to the idea that you almost want to have little, like, random little filling stations, like throwing down 2 or 3 power banks somewhere so that your units can recharge. There we go. We see Link Nodes kind of walking on forward. Yeah, now building a couple power banks over here. Here we go. There's one, but this is a lot of units that are going to require recharging. And a Starforge. Man, this Celestial player really walking forward the Cascade Field. Oh, and he's got an Arc Fortress that's been surged, so I think we can expect to see some laser beams here. Also, another mistake from the Vanguard. If there's any Vanguard players watching this, building perfectly diagonal from a Luminite mine. It's understandable if you want to get a little bit closer to Therium, maybe, but you want to be either perfectly horizontal or perfectly vertical from the Luminite mine for max efficiency. Because now, oh, here comes the laser beam, Fate's End. I believe it's called Fate's End. Yeah, and it doesn't completely kill off the command post, but it just about kills it off. So many bobs going down. The worker count has got to be absolutely plummeting here for player 2, our Vanguard. And yeah, he's now sitting on top of the Vanguard production. That's it. That's GG's. Once he took out that second command post, there was just nothing that could get done fast enough. Yeah, and honestly, the Vanguard should have known better that, like, Sabers are the Celestial unit. So having something that can counter the Sabers, like Hornet or something, would have been good. But then as the Celestial player, if you know that you can almost force your opponent to build stuff. Like, if you build mass Sabers, Hornets are a perfect response to that. So what do you build to counter the Hornets? Vectors. Vectors are anti-light, and they have a fantastic range of 9. So kind of knowing, like, what your opponent's going to build to counter you, and then countering that as it gets built. So it's like, oh, they tried to Uno reverse you, but then you Uno reverse them right back. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Metal League Mondays Celestial Edition patch 0.2.1. Thanks for tuning in. This is going up on YouTube as soon as I splice it all together. But yeah, thanks for sticking around.